Good evening, Gooners. JC here from We Are Arsenal, and I'm joined tonight to, react and analyse a tough result to swallow. My good friend Albert and also RJ. Albert, tell the people who you are, where they can find you, and what you're all about, my friend.
Well, you can find me on my own channel, Albert J TV, as you people might be aware of. If you haven't, subscribe already, and you'll find me on various other channels as part of a guest on. Yeah, I've got Gooner TV, Highbury Squad, and I've got my own show on a Tuesday normally on Lee Judges TV.
Good man. I'm surprised you've got time to do anything else. To be fair,
I probably haven't sometimes. If I'm honest, though. Yeah.
And then we've got the comeback tonight. Your first show for a few weeks. How we doing, RJ, mate? Tell the guys where can they find you, what you're all about, mate.
Well, thank you for inviting me on, JC, of course. To link up with you finally.
I know.
Good Lord, it's been a while. it's been forever. It's been forever. Yes. And to get me on with my partner in crime, Albert JTV, it's always a pleasure linking up with you, bro. As always.
Oh, it's good. It's good to have you both on.
Find me on Twitter, Rising and Raven at RJ Wills, and of course on my channel, Ryan Williams ASC, as well as Albert JTV when we do our weekly surgery. Yes. We're in A&E discussing how to fix Arsenal. So yeah, that's what you can find.
Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Well, listen, all of the details are down in the description below. Twitter pages, YouTube page. I nearly said LinkedIn then. I think I'm at work. YouTube pages, all down in the description below. But before we get into today's stream, let's run a cheeky little intro for the time being. Right, there you have it, guys. Plenty to discuss this evening. Plenty to go through. Suppose a good place to start, starting with yourself, Albert. We'll keep it nice and simple, nice and easy to kick things off. General thoughts to the lineup when you saw it, whether it was an hour before kickoff, 5 minutes before kickoff, and then your general reaction sort of after you'd finished kind of watching the game.
The first thing in regards to the game, I actually dropped the chat in one of my group chats that RJ is part of because I was at work and I knew I wasn't going to make the game back to watch it live. So I just said to him, just let me know what the lineup is when it does come out. And yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest, I was very, very surprised to see Elneny starting. Yeah. Very, very surprised. I made it clear when I was on Highbury Squad, not Highbury Squad, sorry, on Lee Judges TV last Sunday that, listen, nothing against Tavares, and people say sometimes you can't change a winning team or change personnel. Yes, you can. Yeah. Of course you can. It's up to the manager. So I would have personally have brought Kieran Tierney back in. I don't know how fit he is. I don't know if anybody does know or supposedly knows. I'm assuming he's okay. He's on the bench. When someone's back on the bench,
yeah,
you don't necessarily put players that are unfit or on the bench or not ready to come on. So I would have personally started in, and I'm not saying that to be wise after the event because I don't do that. So yeah, a big surprise to see Elneny in the team. Ødegaard, I took it. I wouldn't say I was completely waxing lyrical after his performance against Newcastle, personally speaking. But as for the game itself, mate, it's weird because I'd said to you just before we came on live that I actually didn't. I watched the game on a rerun, obviously not knowing the result, and I deliberately didn't check my phone. So I watched it as I saw it in the build-up and obviously going into the game. And the first 20 minutes, I was impressed. We pressed well, we kept possession well, we were slick. United had great difficulty in imposing any tempo against us personally. I know they're letting a lot of goals, Man United, and actually I was quite surprised to learn that. I think they're ranked in the bottom 4 in terms of goals conceded in the Premier League. Yes, offensively, they got some very, very good players, but having sort of seen the first half in particular, I could see why they've struggled, Man United.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't know what RJ's thoughts would be in yours, JC, but I think when the fixtures come up against United at Old Trafford, I would say particularly in the last 3-4 years. Um, and I think if United fans are totally honest, mate, I think a lot of them were worried going into yesterday's game, because United were due a tonking
Yeah.
over the last 3-4 years, and we haven't done it again. We've gone to we've played a top 6 side again and failed to deliver. People can sit here and talk to me about youngsters and tactics. And listen, when you have an horrendous away record as we do against a top 6 side, it's not easy to take every single season. It's
No.
actually it's really beginning to tick me off, particularly with the Old Trafford games, because how we left that game with losing. I generally don't understand. So I'm not gonna say too much more because I'm sure RJ will come in and you'll say your bits as well, JC.
Yeah, well, we'll dissect it a little more deeper throughout the live show today. But RJ, what was your sort of, again, same question, what were your thoughts when you saw the lineup and your sort of general reaction to, the score and the result at 90 minutes, mate?
Well, to be honest with you, I hear what Albert was saying about Tierney coming back into the fold. Now, I was kind of 50-50 with it because, of course, Tierney has more experience than Tavares, and, of course, he's played a lot longer in this, not particularly this Arsenal defence, because, let's face it, it's a new defence. But at the same time, I felt like Tavares was a better option only because I felt because he can keep up with some of their wingers. Because let's face it, Man United wingers are very quick, and I was kind of worried about Tierney just coming back and just getting into it, and he'll just get burnt out. And it's like, you know what I mean? So with that, I was kind of like, fair enough. I'd like to see Tierney. I think Tierney should come back in against Everton. I think that would be a game for him to come back in and assert himself, but I'm not going to dive to that. El Nene partnership, I was like, it worked last year. Will it work again? Not sure. And, I like Sambi, but I don't know if this would have been another game under the lights, especially under Old Trafford. Can he deal with it? You know what I mean? I don't really want Sambi to start losing confidence and making some crazy mistakes here. He is a good player, but sometimes, me and Albert talked about this before. He holds onto the ball a little bit too long sometimes, and then he makes some crazy things, but he does some good passing. So I was a little bit skeptical seeing El Nene back in the team, but again, like I said, it worked last year, so okay, fine, fair enough.
Yeah.
Odegaard and Aubameyang. I'll quickly say, I'll make this quick. I was annoyed with seeing more so Odegaard. Like Albert said, his performance against Newcastle was a bit meh.
It's all right, yeah.
Personally, I didn't really
very average.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I don't know why he started personally, but it is what it is, and we'll probably get into what happened in the events. Aubameyang, listen. Aubameyang, boy, listen.
We are going to talk about Aubameyang. I'll tell you now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess he's Arteta's guy. We kind of knew it was going to happen. So, but the performance, I'm just going to make this short and sweet. I was very, very disappointed because we went there, and this was like, for me, the first time I actually saw there, we went there, other than last season, with actual intent. In fact, I think we looked a little bit better than last season because it showed from the start, we actually went there with intent to go and hurt Manchester United. But the problem is there was too many times we sat back. Even when we got the goal, we just sat back and played off, and then we allowed them back in the game. And then Odegaard does what he does, and then but we'll probably touch on that more. So I was very disappointed how we just tucked away the points. So
that's exactly how I felt. I felt like we threw them away. Really. We're gonna talk about tactics as one particular part of the tactics that I want to talk about in just a moment. But I agree with both of you in the sense the two question marks heading into the game were Tavares or Tierney at left back. and then whether Lacazette or Odegaard was going to play behind Aubameyang. And I thought maybe because Odegaard played against Newcastle, it was a rest for Lacazette to play in the United game. My biggest surprise with El Neni was that if you were going to drop Sambi, who was my man of the match against Newcastle, why not bring in Ainsley Maitland-Niles instead, who has played minutes this season? El Neni hasn't really featured for Arsenal. And if you want to give Sambi a rest, or you don't think he's quite up to the task because of the pressure of playing at Old Trafford for the first time in front of fans in an Arsenal shirt, why not play Ainsley Maitland-Niles? He's played against top sides in the Premier League. So, yeah, I was confused. The manner in which we lost the game was what frustrated me, which brings me on to our next point. Whether or not you want to use this information on screen, guys, to answer some of the next questions is entirely your choice. But I'll come straight back to you on this one, RJ. For me, it's a couple of times now this season where Arsenal have gone in front, whether it be 1 or 2 goals. We've got Leicester, for example. Crystal Palace was another game. Newcastle to some extent. And again against United, where we go 1 or 2 goals up. And for some reason, we sit really deep. Really, really, really deep. And invite unneeded pressure. And you can clearly see Arteta on the sideline asking the team to get forward. So I'm not too sure if it's something that Arteta's told the lads, or if it's a young, inexperienced side that are nervous and they don't want to throw a lead away, so they'd rather defend it. So what are your... Basically, the question is, what is your take on the way we're going about tactics and approaching games at the moment? Because it's not long term, that's not sustainable.
No,
it's definitely not, especially with a inexperienced back five in terms of they've all came in this season, other than Gabriel. He's the only experienced one there. I actually genuinely thought it was actually Arteta telling them to do that. I'll be honest. I genuinely thought that because he's come in and to be honest, it seemed like he kind of mainly focused on the defense, rather than, the attack and the midfield so much. So I genuinely thought it was him, but yeah, I think these guys are too scared. And this is the thing. It's so frustrating because, we like you said, there's been games where they just sit back and it's like, what are you doing? They're there for the taking. Yeah. Go for it. Yeah. It's not like, it's the last 10, 15 minutes of the game. I could kind of understand that a little bit. If it's that.
Yeah, exactly. Managing the game.
There's still another half. There's still another 45 minutes to play, and you guys just want to sit back and hold the lead. I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you. I generally don't know how to figure this out. Are they scared? And I have to look at the experienced players here, because they're the ones that have to carry this team as well as the young lads. The young lads are still learning here. So I give them the benefit of the doubt. But when it comes to experienced lot, and especially the captain, you have to lead by example. But I mean, me and Albert's talked about this plenty of times. You don't have the traits to be a captain, No. And the other experienced players, where's your leadership? Where are you? Like, you're moving like the youngsters, and the youngsters are moving like the experienced players. That's the most frustrating thing right now. So in regards to them sitting back, I don't know. I don't like it. I really don't like it. And to be honest with you, I know the game was kind of done at Aston Villa, but for me, I kind of saw that in the second half. I felt once Villa changed it up, we kind of sat back. And it's like, well, Villa are still a little bit hurt. They're still a little timid. We could have maybe got another goal or two, but we didn't do that. We sat back and then we ended up conceding 1 goal. And it was a good goal, it was. But I don't know. This has got to stop. This has really got to stop, because I don't want to see this at Goodison Park on Monday. Are we playing at Goodison Park on Monday?
Yeah, it's just away. Yeah, it's away.
I don't want to see that. Yeah. I don't want to see that. So
it's just frustrating. I just don't know if it's Arteta or the lads being nervous. It's really difficult to strip it back, because it's happened so many times this season. Even against Spurs in the North London derby, everyone said that the first 45 minutes of that game was unreal, but then the second half, we allowed them back into the game. There was the Ramsdale save late on in the game, which would have made it 3-2. had he have not pulled it out the bag. So yeah, there's the other thing I suppose is Arteta learning in that respect? Is he making the right changes? And Albert, you mentioned it in the last slide. First 20 minutes against Man United, really, really good stuff. And then, we get the goal. And then literally for like the last, 20, 25 minutes, which is where they got their goal, it was just constant pressure. And if we played, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 yards further forward, a slightly higher line, I know you let's be honest, our back four aren't slow. So it's not like we're playing 10, 15 yards higher up the pitch and we're going to get caught out. What's your take on it, Albert?
Arsenal yesterday, for me, summed up the word surrendered. They surrendered initiative. They surrendered. They did. Bruno Fernandes hasn't scored for about 4 months, I think. He's lo and behold, he scores, and it would again another sucker punch to concede 2 minutes before the first time. That's where we lost the game.
Yeah, same to Liverpool, wasn't it? Similar.
That's 100% where we lost the game. And I mentioned this on my fan cam reaction on Lee Judge's TV. I said this Arsenal side remind me of the England side under Sven-Göran Eriksson. It's an absolute carbon copy.
Yeah.
They would go 1-0 up in big games. They would sit back. They would coast through games, concede a goal, and lose. It's just exactly the same thing. Anybody that remembers watching England under Sven-Göran Eriksson, it's exactly the same thing. And JC, I think it comes from the manager. He's more, with certain games, it's more about not losing than going to win the games. And that's what I saw yesterday.
Yeah.
It's what I've seen in quite a few games, to be honest with you. RJ makes a good point again about it comes back to the same aspect as well. We talk about the HLM boys and the youngsters being the ones that are stepping up and putting in consistent performances. But when we look at our experienced players, generally through a season, and more so in the big games, where are they?
Yeah.
Listen, don't get me wrong. And Thomas Partey, he's not had, for me, that many fantastic games in an Arsenal shirt.
Not yet, no.
And I don't think he has. And there's one point yesterday, I don't know if you guys remember it, I really got angry. And it's very rare for me to get like that. But I think it's when midfield players give away the ball. In
the first half, especially.
Yeah, there's a part in the 35th minute when he had the ball. It was a very simple pass. It wasn't very difficult. I think it's either Martinelli or Tomiyasu that were free on the right-hand side. A simple pass.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
I lost my mind for about 20 seconds because I thought, even parts of the SR losing the ball in key areas, and it makes that big a difference in terms of how you manage a game of football.
Yeah,
and we don't do that very well in the big games. There's as good as they are, some of the youngsters in the team and some of the performances this season. And I've heard a few people say it. There's a naivety in this team that just kills us. It does. It just, and we saw it again yesterday. Like I said, I generally cannot believe we left that ground yesterday with no points. I generally don't know what happened. In Ronaldo happened, obviously, but the second goal could have been avoided. Obviously, people saying about Tierney would have been better positionally in that sense with Tavares. I actually didn't think Tavares was that awful, to be honest with you. I thought he was actually, whether Arteta had a word with him in terms of he likes to maraud forward and get forward but to me, he kept a lid on that a lot yesterday. There weren't many times, but it's like the only time we seemed to loosen up, particularly in the second half, was when we was losing. United sat back and they invited pressure. We had more of the ball, but that's a bit late when it's 5-10 minutes ago or an injury time of 5 minutes. It's a very, very, very frustrating result because, as I mentioned at the top of the stream, that the last few years now going to OT. they've been there for the taking to give them an annihilation, and we haven't done it again. So yeah, the attack of it, which we're probably going to go into, has been a concern for me. I did mention in the score predictions, looking at the fixtures in recent weeks, that I thought we would lose yesterday. And I think we might draw on Monday night. Arsenal fans might not want to hear it because it's a must-win game, but Everton are in free fall. But we'll come on to that probably another time. But yeah, Arsenal. It's like watching England, mate, under Ericsson. Seriously.
Yeah, it's something has to change. You can see here on this on the shape. I don't understand why Aubameyang is so far on the left-hand side, and I don't understand it as well. If we were, well, he's occupying the space that Smith Rowe and Tavares has occupied in previous games and had success. And if you look at our heat map as well, you can see how wide we were playing, and you were playing against Dalot, who hasn't played all season. So immediately for me, that's an area to exploit. And Martinelli had Telles on toast at least twice in the first 15 minutes. So that blows my mind. But the other thing that blows my mind even more is we don't have an outball. I'd understand sitting deep if we had an outball. Aubameyang isn't known for winning headers. The ball's coming straight back every single time we're inviting pressure. And I think I heard someone on the Armoury yesterday even say, this is how bad it is, that we even had Bednar at one point sitting on the right back of the oppositions that we used to play, but it was an outball. I know he wasn't a very good player, but it was an outball. You could spray that diagonal ball when you were under pressure at the back, and you could relieve the... We don't have that at the moment. So something, for me, and it seems like you guys are in agreement, something needs to change.
We need a target man. That's what we need.
We need a target man. Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely 100% need a target man. And we'll speak about Aubameyang in the next slide. But just before we do so, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, please do drop a like, subscribe. Don't forget that both Albert and RJ's details are down in the description. So take their details down, go and subscribe to their channels, go and follow them on Twitter. They churn out some fantastic content. You really, really won't be disappointed. And whilst we're here, we've got Den in the chat. Big up the panel. Good lad. Speak to him quite often. And then some business, Yes, substitutions are another one that often get scrutinised by Arsenal fans. It's that's a whole nother show altogether. But yeah, with these shows, Albert, you've been on before. You know I like to pick sort of 3 players to focus on. Again, just like I said in the last, you don't have to base your opinions on any of the stats or heat maps that you've seen on screen. But funny that you mentioned Thomas Partey, Albert, in the last section, because for me, I highlighted him. He lost the ball yesterday, the second most out of any player on the pitch. And the one performance that I can remember that he had that was fantastic, it's probably the only performance actually, was funnily enough at Old Trafford a year ago. Yeah. And it was fantastic. And we were like, right, if this is the player that we've bought, then we're absolutely laughing. And I thought at the start of the season that if we could get Thomas Partey going, he could be the difference between us getting Europe or not getting Europe this season. But he's been so underwhelming. We've already kind of touched on it, but have you got anything else to say about Thomas Partey's performance generally yesterday, apart from him sort of losing possession and his passing being quite poor?
In a couple of the big games against Liverpool, he was... I mean, I don't get me wrong, Liverpool good side, but if you ask him in isolation about Thomas Partey's performance, then I don't think he was that great in that, to be honest. And I think with him, sort of generally speaking, and I said this before when we bought him, it's fine bringing in the quality of a Thomas Partey, but it's what you have around him. We used to have this. We had the same thing with Mesut Ozil and the players that he had when he came, and he had Jura up front, and you didn't have this player playing, but he also had some very good players playing with him as well. But with Thomas Partey, like I said, it's again, I don't know whether it's how much it is to do with him, how fit he is. But there's only so many times we can turn around and say that, because obviously he must be okay if he's been played in recent weeks consistently in games. So
he's had a run of games now.
He's had a run of games now. So we can't keep just harping back to the fact that he's had a poor injury record at Arsenal, which he has had, by the way. But yesterday was just. I think yesterday for me was the first time I got really frustrated with him, man. He did some good things. Look, like I said, him and Martinelli played a fantastic part in the second goal, and to bounce back that quickly after conceding. To make it 2-1 for United, that was I was very impressed with that for us how quickly we got back in the game. But look, we'll have to see what happens with Thomas Partey. To be honest, bro, we know the qualities that are already there.
Yes,
but I don't know how much of it is to do with the fact that he's rarely been fit. But even though, like you guys said, he's had a run of games now, and just his standards, and how Arteta gets the best out of him. But you can be the thing is you can be the thing is we have to look at him as one of our key players because obviously
he's one of the senior players.
He's one of the senior players and he comes with experience and if he's not bringing that to the table, then you have got a problem because when Saka's off it or when ESR's off it, we've got a huge problem at Arsenal. I've been talking about the attack for about 3 years now, maybe 2 years. It's a big concern.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts on Thomas Partey. I don't know sort of going to the other two guys because you probably would bring RJ as well.
Yeah, absolutely. What are your thoughts on Thomas Partey? He has, by the way, come out today on social media and not directly apologised, but said, look, I need to start playing better. I know I can do better, which is good to hear. But, it's all well and good saying that after a poor performance.
That's the problem, mate. That's the problem. That's the big issue.
It seems to happen too often nowadays with not just players who play for Arsenal, but just players in general. It's like a bit of a cop-out, really. But RJ, what are your thoughts, mate?
To be honest, even to add to that point, it's always our players. I see it with our players more than anybody else. I don't even see it with bloody Newcastle players more than Arsenal players. They're bloody bottom of the table.
Yeah,
it's a big concern. And Albert talks about the forward line. I've been screaming about the midfield for years, because there's too many times I see us get cut open like a slice of pizza or something. It's ridiculous. When Thomas Partey first got linked, I remember me and my boy was like, I don't know if it's going to happen. And then it happened and I was happy. But then I remembered who's his partner? Granit Xhaka. Now, Granit Xhaka, granted, I'm not going to slander him or anything. He's not around. He hasn't been playing because he's been injured. But my biggest criticism, and nothing to do with Sambi Lokonga, I like Sambi a lot.
Yeah, same.
But my thing is, why did we not go and buy another midfielder? Even if you wanted to keep Xhaka, which is a very questionable decision, why did you still not buy another midfielder? We still need a partner for Partey. Personally, Partey's been very, very underwhelming. And a part of me feels like it's due to the manager also. Because there's a point you even mentioned earlier about naivety. Remember, this team is still learning. Arteta's still learning. Everybody is learning from the boardroom up to the pitch.
That's the problem.
This is the problem.
Yeah.
We're all learning here. Us fans, we've been patient for years. We've had Song, we've had Diaby, we've had all these players come and go. And we get one player we thought, okay, this is someone to build on. And he's always bloody injured.
Yeah.
And this is the annoying thing, like he just said. He's only had a few games where we could pick out and think, he's been fantastic. But it's not been consistent. I can name another player, and Albert knows who I'm talking about. I'm not even going to name him right now. And he didn't even come on the pitch yesterday. Which, another question, I don't know why, but we'll talk about that later. However, Partey has been so underwhelming. I think there's a lot of valuables here. It's due to he's not used to the league. He's trying to get fit. Remember, he was injured before, we come back for the international break. So again, it's probably taken him a little bit of a while. And on top of that, he don't have no one to really roll with. You know what I mean? I look at him and Sambi as the same type of player. Do you know what I'm saying?
I agree.
like, Sandy should be coming on the pitch for him if Partey is injured, vice versa. Do you know what I'm saying? So I still generally think there's an issue with that midfield, and I just, do you know what? I'll be real. I don't know if Arteta knows what to do with Thomas Partey. I've got to be honest. I don't know. I don't know. But that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, yesterday it was garbage, man. I've got to be real. It was garbage.
Yeah, very, very, very average.
For OT last season with El Nene bossing it, putting Pogba and Bruno Fernandes in a split. It's not this. He put himself in the split. That's how bad he was. Yes.
But this time they got Ronaldo in it. Yeah. So yeah.
It's nuts. Does it not? Yeah. It's one of those, isn't it? I think. Well, yeah, exactly. That's the type of player he is. Even if he's having a bad game, he can literally, all he needs is 30 seconds on the ball and he'll win you a game.
Clutch player. Yeah, exactly.
Do you think, I wasn't going to ask this question, but it's just kind of come to my mind during this conversation on Thomas Partey. If rumours were true in the summer that Xhaka was going to be leaving, do you think that Arsenal knew that they needed a different player in midfield to play alongside Thomas Partey to unlock what he can offer a team? Because for me, like, a lot of people were saying, we've signed him as a defensive midfield player. He's not a defensive midfield player. He's a box-to-box midfield player. And I find that when he plays against, like you said, alongside Sambi, because they're the same type of player, there's that hesitation to really get forward and have that freedom because you don't know what's behind you. You don't have a Fabinho, a Kante, a Casemiro, a Busquets, those types of players that will sit in front of the back four and allow the other central midfielder to get forward. So do you think that was the plan, was to get rid of Xhaka, to create another space, get some more funds? Because Sambi was always coming by the looks of it. And then to bring in a proper, traditional holding midfield player?
Not really, because I think I don't know what it is with Mikel Arteta, but he sort of nailed his colours to the mast by keeping Granit Xhaka twice over, not once, twice. So just got a bit of a tangent, but what I didn't also understand as well, people mentioned it in the chat in terms of substitutions, right? Is not substitutions, but we'll come on to that. But if you're going to bring in Nene, then why did you started Sambi against one of the best teams in world football in Liverpool? Yeah. So why didn't he play yesterday? That's why I don't understand. That's why I don't understand. That's why I was shocked when I saw that El Nene was starting. But yeah, back to your original sort of point. Arteta, I think the problem is, I mentioned this before, and this is not about whether you like Granit Xhaka or not. The problem is, the fact of the matter is, he should have been moved on. And what that's done is it's created a problem in terms of who we really should have brought in. Because I said it, listen, when we brought in Martin Odegaard, people have their views about him. They wasn't that impressed with him last season, to be honest, on loan. But if you're going to bring him in, you have to bring in the Basuma at the time. I said you have to bring him in. I guarantee, and I don't normally say this when I talk, usually when it comes to football or Arsenal, but I guarantee you would see a much better Thomas Partey than what you're seeing at the moment if Basuma had come in.
Yeah, I agree.
100%. 100 million %.
I agree. 100%. Especially when he's got Sambi next to him for most of the season with Xhaka out injured. At times, Partey could be carrying him in certain games because he's still learning and adapting. But Aubameyang up next, which is an interesting one. I think I started doing live streams again on my channel about 3 games ago, and every game since I've done my live shows, he's come up as a topic for good reason. I like to try and keep it positive. We all do, but I'm just going to ask you for your opinion, RJ. I'm not going to field some sort of big elaborate question. Just give it to me straight. Give it to me straight, mate.
Oh, this guy is one of the most. You know what? Yeah, as much as I get at Xhaka, he's on that list as well now. He's on that list now, and this is annoying because it's like after we won that FA Cup, after he won us that FA Cup, right?
Yeah.
He just died. He just died. Let's be real. He just died. Signed the contract. There was a whole big thing around the fan base. Should he sign it? Should he not? At least 90% of the fan base. I know there was quite a few people that felt, no, we should have moved him on and that. Funny enough, look where we are now. And I think most of them, 90%, have kind of converted into like probably 70%, because we know there's still people out there still believe in him and that. I hear that.
Yeah.
But a lot of the people kind of like, yeah, I think we should have moved him on. I think a lot of people are right. Even I was like, no, let's see how he goes. Last season, I was very disappointed with him. I know he had a few issues in that, but even still, I was thinking, you got to do something. Do you know what I mean? This season, listen, I'm sorry if you don't swear on this channel, but he's been piss poor.
No, you swear, mate. You crack on.
Oh, great. Oh, you know what I mean? No filter. But listen, I've been holding it in, man. But look, he's been piss poor. I mean, how many goals has he got? He's got, what, 4 goals in like 12 appearances. 4. And what? There have been penalties at the Tottenham goal. I can't remember the other goal. That's how bad it is. And he's missed how many penalties now? Oh, come on, man.
2 recent. I think 2 in his last 3 or 4 games, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing. It keeps going in the same corner as well. That's really pissing me off. But also to that, I just don't see him do anything. Everyone keeps saying he's working hard and all this. Yeah, I could work hard.
Should be doing that anyway.
I could go get my skipping rope. I'm working hard. Yeah. Great. But I'm a striker. I have to score the goals. You're not doing that. And your performance yesterday, again, is the same old shit.
Yeah.
You know? I was absolutely furious with you at Newcastle when you missed a goal that probably Stevie Wonder could score with one eye shut too. And yet, I just don't know anymore. I really don't know. I've lost so much faith in this guy. Yeah. Game after game after game. It's on minus now. That's how bad it is. It's on minus. I've been screaming for Lacazette to start, but I feel Lacazette is either put on a beer belly or it's just like he can't be bothered. So I don't know what the hell Mikel Arteta's been doing, but drop the guy. Drop the guy. Either he takes the captaincy ban off, give it to somebody else. Give it to Gabriel. Give it to Gabriel, because I cannot take this crap anymore. And this is annoying. You wouldn't hear me say this about 2 years ago. You wouldn't hear me say this 2 years ago. Yeah. I love Aubameyang. Deep down, I do. But right now, listen, the club comes first, man. We got to make the decision. If it carries on even more worse, we need to make the decision in the summer. I'm sorry. Cut all ties. We start again. I don't care if anyone can come at me right now. I don't care. He has. It's finished. There's nothing in him right now that I'm seeing that is telling me he can be bothered. And do you know what even made it even worse for me? What game was it when Odegaard scored and he touched it and it was ruled offside?
Watford.
Yeah.
Why did you do that, bro? Why did you do that? Think of the team other than yourself. You know you're in poor form, but you thought about yourself. Even yesterday, why are you shooting from that angle with the hair? And then the other thing when he was offside with the open goal,
oh my God,
you're offside, but that's no excuse. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry. There was a chance.
It's frustrating. It really is frustrating. My concern.
What are you doing? Pass him the ball. No,
Ali McCoy said
that was in the second half. That wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Ali McCoy said that. Ali was screaming it. I had my head down on the kitchen table, like, I can't do this anymore. I can't. But ran over, man. I can't be bothered with them. Man. I'm sorry. I'm done.
Before I ask you for your opinion, Albert, I think the concerning thing for me is because I agree a lot with a lot of what you said there about, you know, he's finished. My biggest concern is Lacazette. Don't get me wrong; he'll do a job. He'll work hard for the team. He isn't going to get you 20 plus goals a season. Okay, right. Aubameyang clearly isn't going to do the same thing either at the moment, right? How can we wait until the end of the season? Because if we do, we're in a really, really awkward situation. We've got no European football, so there's no excuses for why we shouldn't be pushing for a top 6 finish. But we need someone who can score goals. And we've got January in in less than a month now, with potentially Nketiah and Lacazette on the transfer list so that we don't lose them on freeze, and Balogun going out on loan, which leaves Martinelli maybe, and Aubameyang. So what do Arsenal do? Do we stick or twist? And players don't come cheap in January. Teams know that you're buying reinforcements for a reason, so they chuck money on top. So it's not a good situation to be in. But Albert, mate, what are your thoughts on Aubameyang yesterday and just in general?
I said a few weeks. I said not even a few weeks ago, maybe even last season. I said it actually. I did say it last season. Generally, I'll come on to Batman. Generally speaking, about the Arsenal team, I find it very difficult to like this Arsenal side for quite a few seasons. There's not a lot of these. Actually, none of these players I would think about getting. Maybe if I had kids, it'd be a bit different, but. Having put in some of these players' names on the back of my shirt, I wouldn't. JC, they don't deserve it.
No,
in my opinion, they don't. And in regards to Aubameyang, I said if there's a lot of people that would ride and die for this guy in terms of our fan base. Not all of them, some of them, majority of them. Yes, if you want to bring up the FA Cup and the 2 golden boots. I can't argue with that because he did that. He did that in a very, very poor Arsenal side. But you have to deal in the here and now. And I said this a few weeks ago on my show on a Tuesday on the Judges channel that you can sit here and you can talk about creativity till it comes out your ass.
Yeah.
You can sit here and talk about tactics. You can sit here and talk about chances created and movement and the rest of it. Yes, there's games where he makes the movement, doesn't get the ball. It happens. You're a striker, it happens. I play striker, I know that happens. Yeah. Sometimes you get annoyed and you think, what's these midfield guys doing? But there's been too many games where he is consistently poor and does absolutely nothing.
Just goes missing.
And the thing is, I think with sections of the fan base, and I use the key word again, like I say, sections, is they give this guy a free pass. And I think even some of them have got to a stage now, they're looking at it and thinking, you know what? Maybe it's not just the creativity, maybe it is him. He looks like JC and RJ. He looks like someone to me who missed the boat of a big move.
And it wasn't it? When that contract was up, there was Inter Milan and Barcelona.
Yep.
I remember.
It's a bit easy to say now, probably people might say, but if it wasn't for COVID, you have to ask yourself the honest question, would he still have been an Arsenal player? And I think the possibility is that he wouldn't have been. And I think he would have gone. And maybe his head is still in the clouds about that. Who knows? Possibly. We don't know. Listen, he loves life in London. London's a beautiful city to live in. But that doesn't mean you love maybe the club who you're playing for. And like I said, there's been too many games where he has been horribly poor. And you think to yourself, sometimes as footballers, you have to take some individual responsibility. I hear what Thierry Henry was saying in terms of Arsenal's losing the game. He's your captain, and you take him off for 15 minutes to go. JC, I'd have took him off even earlier.
Yeah, no, I was the same opinion.
I said it. I'll give him 45 minutes. If I give him 45 minutes, if he doesn't do anything, take him off. What have you got to lose? I would have started with him against Man United, unbelievably, but I would have started with Martinelli and I would have started with Laka. United were there for the taking. It was bloody obvious. And yet we still couldn't do it. But Aubameyang, I don't know where this goes, man, if I'm being honest with you, because you can't keep playing a player who's not bringing anything to the team. You might as well play with 10 men.
I saw that.
Aubameyang, play Aubameyang centrally, play Aubameyang down the middle. He's been playing down the middle, but he doesn't have the all-round game, whether you play a 4-2-3, 4-2-3-1, 4-4-1-1, or the 4-4-2. He cannot have the all-round game in order for us to flourish as an attacking unit. You don't have to be an experienced a football coach or have some fantastic football knowledge to see that. Your own two eyes don't lie to you. Yeah. If he starts against Everton on Monday I don't know what to say.
Yeah, that's going to be the big one, isn't it? The lineup. He has to look. Don't get me wrong. I like RJ said, and like you said about what he done two Golden Boots, FA Cup.
Yeah, it's not forgotten, but
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
To deal in,
100%.
You have to deal in the here and now. You have to.
He stayed when others would have gone. You know, he done a lot of positive things for Arsenal fans, which he'll be remembered for. But as a football club, I think in recent times we've not been ruthless enough. Now, I'm not one of these people around change. It's look at what Aguero did at City when he left towards the end of his contract. You know, it would have been very easy for City to extend him by a year or two, but he left. Yeah. He went to Barcelona and all that rubbish. But yeah, the next two windows in terms of what Arsenal do with Aubameyang is going to be really interesting. Yeah, go on, mate.
With Arsenal, it's crazy because it goes from one thing to another in terms of if we go back to the situation with the goalkeeper situation. You know that's the least of our worries. The people said a couple of years ago, and then obviously Martinez goes, and Leno's obviously number one, but we're getting Runerson and the rest of it, and then obviously Ramsdale's come in and he's been fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But with the striking situation, the midfield is a concern. We still haven't addressed that.
No.
And Arteta's been here 3 years. And we didn't address it before that, to be fair to him. But the striker situation is a huge worry. For two different aspects, because they're not scoring goals, whoever it is. It doesn't matter who plays in the front three. There's no fluidity. It doesn't gel. It's poor to watch. There's no interchange. Yes, it's a little bit better with Saka and ESR in the team, but in regards to, I look at front threes and it just gels better. It looks better. Cohesion, but then that comes from the manager.
Yeah.
How he sets the team up. But we've got a massive problem with the striker situation in terms of what they're doing now and what happens going forward. Because, you know, we bought an Eddie Nketiah yesterday. I couldn't believe that he brought him on.
I was shocked.
He doesn't want to be here.
That blew my mind. I don't know if he's trying to convince him that he's going to get minutes or he's trying to send a message to Pepe, which is what I think he did. But
got a huge problem, man, because we've got a huge problem with the striking situation.
It is, as I said, the next two windows for Arsenal with the players that are out of contract. Potentially,
there's a lot.
It's a big one, and I think I said it to you a couple of weeks ago when you first came back on, Albert, that the striker position is the last role within this squad that doesn't have an Arteta player that's been bought in. If you look at everyone else within the team, everyone else in the team has been bought by Edu and Arteta, but Lacazette and Aubameyang are the last two, if you will, that are not part of the new mould. So it'd be really interesting to see who he brings in. There's lots of speculation with Calvert-Lewin, Isaac, or whatever his name is, from Real Sociedad, Velojevic from Fiorentina. But that mould of big, strong, fast players up top, it'd be interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Arsenal do in January. Because, as you said, RJ, we need a central midfield player and we need a striker. Go on, mate.
Quickly, what I didn't like, and now I'm not a fan of Pepe. We all know, everyone knows I'm not really a fan of Pepe, but bringing on Nketiah,
that was
just said everything to me.
Yeah,
it's a message.
That was to me that was a huge disrespect to Pepe, because it just said you're just really not in my fans. I really can't be bothered with you. And the fact that, do you know what even amazed me more? We were talking about Martinelli for the last couple of weeks, saying he needs to get more minutes, etc., right? But to see Saka get injured, and you think to yourself, it's like Martinelli or Pepe. One of them have to come on.
Yeah.
And surprisingly enough, it was Gabriel Martinelli, which I was happy about. And I was happy he started at Old Trafford. I think he was our best player.
I thought he played well. He played well yesterday. He played well, really well.
Very well. And this is what he showed, balls, which our captain doesn't. Anyways, just want to say that. But the fact of the matter is, Pepe could have instantly came on as an impact substitute, and he didn't. You know what I mean? He didn't even have to bring Saka, because I thought Saka was awful when he came on, personally. He could have just braked that thing.
He was just gonna. It was 2-2 at the time, was it? When he was gonna bring him on, and then we conceded that stupid penalty.
Yeah,
absolutely brain dead.
Yeah, we'll come on to some of those moments in a minute. Just before we do, let's quickly talk about Martinelli, because he has been given his chance, hasn't he? It looks like he's grabbed it with both hands, probably, or arguably one of, if not the best player for Arsenal yesterday.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts around Martinelli? Because he is someone that not only creates competition out wide for the likes of maybe Smith Rowe on the left or Saka on the right, potentially up front for Aubameyang and Lacazette, but it also means that you could push someone like Emil Smith Rowe into the number 10 role and play Martinelli on the left. There's so many different things that you can do with this guy. He's got so much passion and determination. And as I said earlier, he had Telles on toast yesterday. There was a couple of occasions where Telles looked like he was worried, like really worried. Albert, give me your general thoughts on his performance yesterday and what we might look forward to maybe against Everton.
Yeah, firstly, it definitely give Martinelli a mention, man. Great goal last week against Newcastle. He to me, I when I watch forward play and whether it be front two, front three, he moves us further up the pitch. He gives us energy. He gives us what most of our striking force doesn't give us. He gives us a spark. That's what he gives us. And yesterday, even though he played on the right side, he was one of the positives. As kind of, there are positives yesterday with some of the players for me. Obviously Martinelli was one of them. I thought he looked dangerous. He looked sharp. I do think he should have squared that one in the first half, personally, to ESR. But listen, he was in on goal. He striker in it. You got your natural instinct is to go for goal. But a great hand in the equalising goal.
Yes.
As Ali McCoy mentioned in the commentary, Aubameyang should have put the ball back to him. But yeah, Martinelli, listen, I know people, to be honest, people say he hasn't grabbed his opportunities. I'm like, well, if you're talking about the Premier League, what opportunities are you talking about? What, the first game of the season against Brentford? I mean, what minutes against AFC Wimbledon and Leeds in the Carabao Cup? Yes, I was at the Leeds game. He didn't play well. I thought he was poor, very poor. He tried, but you know what? You know why he was poor? Because he tried too hard. Because he finally got an opportunity in the team. Yeah, but listen, I'm everyone. I don't know anyone that's not a fan of Martinelli, and it comes back to what we've, not just myself, many people probably said it, but I'll say it again anyway because I like saying it anyway. But if the strikers were doing their job and he wasn't in the team, then it's fair enough. If Lacazette was banging in goals, fair play. If Aubameyang was banging in goals, fair play. Or even Eddie Nketiah, when he gets his opportunities, banging in goals. And by the way, Eddie has had a lot of chances. By the way, a lot more than Gabriel Martinelli. But
indeed,
then I can understand why you don't play Martinelli. People talk about the injury, but again, Arteta was putting him on the bench. So he must have been fit for cameo appearances or 20 minutes here and there. Otherwise, how are you going to get your fitness up? You're not just going to get that in the under 23s. But I just think the strikers were not doing enough ahead of him for him to not get more minutes. And that's the problem. And you know what? He's going to be a vital player in, come this December period and January when AFCON comes up But you know what? With the likes of, like I said, we've talked to before about our defensive unit, there's players there that give us a bit more hope, and Martinelli fits into that. And by the way, a quick mention before I finish to Tomiyasu, I thought would play very, very well.
He just continues to impress, doesn't he? Every week.
Again, you're right. Came up against a top opponent in Jadon Sancho. And you know what? He's had many tests, Dwight McNeil, Sancho, Heung-min Son. And he's come through flying colours. Mane, I thought he did well against Mane. That's my opinion. Cucurella, he had a tough first half against Brighton, but he came back in second half and he's brilliant. Listen, he's been fantastic, Tomiyasu.
Yeah, he has been great.
Brilliant.
RG, what are your general thoughts on this lad? Because he really, really does excite me. That Brazilian flair, that directness about him.
We need that, man. I love this kid.
100%.
Honestly, man. It frustrates me because, like Albert mentioned about the whole injury thing, because at one point I actually believed Arteta was kind of like being careful with him, because remember,
you know what, RJ, you make a
injury.
good point. I never believed. Yeah, but go on, sorry, bro. Yeah.
I know you didn't, but I generally did at
didn't.
the point, because when I thought about it, I know you didn't, but at the time, I genuinely thought about it, because I was thinking, like Saka, we need to be careful, and like ESR, we can't need to be careful with these boys, because when they get hurt in their young career, we don't want them getting long-term injuries getting forward. So I thought, okay, he's looking out for, because we got injured, came back. Then he picked up that injury in a warm-up. Then it was like, okay. Then he eventually got better. Then he was just chilling, and it was like, what are you doing? And then people were making excuses. Oh, he's doing the Phil Foden thing with Pep. Like, I'm sick of the comparisons. Okay, we know Arteta was Pep's second-hand man. Just forget it. But going back to Martinelli, this kid is very, very exciting. For me, I know a lot of people like to put him up front. I'm a little bit hesitant at the moment, because I feel like he needs to kind of like Odegaard. I think he needs to bulk up a little bit, to go up front. So I kind of feel like maybe if he's on the wing and Smith Rowe's in the middle, and then maybe if we get like a target man, then he can kind of just just cut in and do the magic he's been doing. Do you know what I mean? That's why I'm kind of in my head. If he goes up front, hey, listen, great. I don't mind, because I know Saka and ESR will do their best to feed him. Do you know what I mean? And hopefully Odegaard will fix up by then. However, this kid for me has a bright future, and we need to keep seeing more. And to be honest, like I said, he's keeping Pepe out the team. Now he is, anyways. But we need to see more from him. Bright future, and like Albert said, we're gonna need him come January and the rest of this period, because, to be honest, like Saka, like ESR, he's gonna drag us through this period, because, like I said, I've got no faith in Aubameyang. Lacazette is inconsistent at times, and I actually got a question for you guys. Come January, what do we do? Do we sell both Lacazette and Eddie Nketiah, or do we wait for the summer to let them go? Because we know Aubameyang's gonna go, and we know we're gonna have that. We're gonna need an extra option for a striker. If we're gonna put Martinelli up top, and let's be real, Balogun's more than likely gonna have to go on loan. I rather him. I wanted Balogun to go on loan.
He should go on loan.
Personally, I think. So what do we do, guys?
Personally,
do we sell Nketiah and
I think
Lacazette
he's the one.
We keep one of them.
I think Nketiah is the one that will go. If it's the two, it'll be him, because Lacazette's more reliable, and in the last month or so, there has been talk about offering him a 1-year extension as well, which, unlike Nketiah, he hasn't immediately knocked back the idea of it. I don't necessarily agree that offering him a 1-year extension is the right thing to do, but I think given that Aubameyang will be off in AFCON, among other players, you're going to need to keep one of them, and you'd want to keep your experienced player, who's, to be fair, the way the youngsters talk about him, he's a role model in training, which is surprising. Why Arteta hasn't played him up top with Smith Rowe and Saka out wide yet? Hopefully, maybe
it's madness.
Maybe we see that on Monday. But Albert, what are your thoughts on RJ's question, mate?
Yeah, because before I come to because people will argue, but Lacazette doesn't score, but Aubameyang doesn't score either.
Yeah, what have you got to lose?
So just play him at the top. I don't understand it.
His link-up play is far better.
But no, RJ, I always say that I'm surprised that some of these Arsenal players are still here, and he's one of them. Sell him, take whatever money you can get for him, 15. Let me tell you something. If Arsenal get offered 20 million for him, 15 to 20 million for him, take it and run.
Yeah.
Take it and absolutely run. any money is better than losing someone for a free again at this football club. Take the money and run. Lacazette's going to go in the summer anyway. But but for the time you want to keep, I would rather keep him here than to keep Hector Nketiah.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It's interesting, that striker position. There's so many things that could happen. It's those next two windows, madness, absolute madness. Right, final section of the live stream is sort of key moments, if you will, talking points from the game. Picture number 3 and 4, which we'll come on to last, kind of fall into the same bracket of VAR consistency, but we'll talk about that last. First goal here, picture number 1. Albert, I'll come to you first on this. Arsenal, during that 10-game run, and then obviously the Liverpool game came, then we bounced back against Newcastle, then we played Man United. One of our biggest strengths was keeping clean sheets and defensively. Even going back to last season, everyone was giving plaudits about how great Arsenal were after Christmas defensively. Yesterday, there were some big question marks for me. You look at picture number 1 and 2, we'll speak about picture 2 afterwards. There is no reason for me personally why Arsenal, especially in picture number 1, why Arsenal should be conceding from this position.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Fred is making, you can see him in the red circle there with the red arrow. He's made a late run into the box. El Neni's probably the closest player to him. He does eventually close him down, but obviously he doesn't get there in time. You've got 3 players around the ball where Sancho is in the white circle, and the white arrow is where the ball eventually travels. And then you've got 3 players marking Bruno Fernandes and Cristiano Ronaldo. Quite tight as well, to be fair. Is there... For me, I'm a bit flabbergasted as to how we conceded from this position, given where we were as a unit. Any explanation from you? Because you can see there, can't you? It's frustrating.
Yeah, it is frustrating because, like I said, the goals, it was a sucker punch to concede, and they didn't really create. United didn't really, to me, they didn't do anything in the first half. We'll be honest. But I mean, the only thing I would add to the first goal conceded was that Ben White was literally a split second from blocking that. That was the first thing. And actually, Ramsdale, look, he was pretty again. It's almost like the week before against Liverpool, where he probably was disappointed where he didn't save the Mane header.
Yeah,
because he tried to get a good strong left hand to it, and I saw that.
Didn't he?
Yeah, and I saw that with the strike from Fernandes, where it was. You know what? With that, for me, that first goal, JC, there was fine margins. Like I said, the Ben White was probably not even a split second, probably half a split second from blocking that.
Yeah.
And to Ramsdale, there's been games that have gone by where he's played where he saves that with his left arm and pulls off a fantastic save, and we go in half-time at 1-0. So it's very, very fine margins. I think when you concede, you always look at it and think, you know, what is there anything we could have done better? Which is a good question to ask, because you're not going to turn around and say, oh, it's a great goal. But again, a sucker punch. But for me, those are the two things that could have turned from being a fantastic defensive block or a fantastic save. But unfortunately for us, a bit of good play from United, a bit interchange, pulling us out of position, and then 1-1 at half-time. Yeah,
there's only so much your luck can carry you, I suppose, because like you said, you know, Ramsdale's got us out of a few situations with his saves. He's not going to be able to save them all. RJ, anything to add on that, that first goal in terms of where Arsenal find themselves in terms of positioning? Because, as Albert said, I think it really just does come down to a little bit of luck on United's behalf.
Well, if I'm going to nitpick, as I always like to do, even a little bit before that, Ben White, I think he should have done a lot better when he got the ball, because there was a part where he got the ball and he just kind of just kicked it, and I thought, why didn't you clear it? And then he kicked it. It just looked so lazy. And then the ball, then it went back to, I can't remember what player it was on that side again. I can't remember who was on that side. Then the United move went. But going back to even Fred, the marking is, I could do that. I'm a defender. I'm looking at Fred. Fred's the first person I'm going to mark there. Why is there so many men in the middle, but it's just too congested. You have to pick your markers.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a schoolboy defending from Arsenal. We've seen it too many times in the past, to be honest. And I know these guys are still learning, like, being here, but they're not academy kids. Some of them have been defenders for a long time. It's just basic defending. So for me,
Ben
it's
White
a
and
real
Gabriel,
letdown, in it. Like, it is small margins, like Albert said, but to be honest, it's just down to naivety again. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, if Ben White dealt with that personally earlier, I'm not going to completely slander Ben White, but I just felt like if he'd have dealt with that earlier, instead of just kind of just kicking it, that wouldn't happen. And then even if that did happen, which it did, the marking, you got to mark better. What's O'Neill doing there, standing there waiting for the traffic light to go green? Seriously, it's just fucking
ball watching, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ball watching. Yeah, you're right. Ball watching.
It is ball watching, and that comes down to that match sharpness, which is another what we touched on earlier, isn't it? Is why he was selected. You'd like to think that maybe someone like Sambi or even Ainsley Maitland-Niles would be a little bit more alert to the late run into the box.
It's basic, JC. This is the thing.
It's basics, 100%.
The basic fundamentals of the defending. You're a defensive midfielder, for crying out loud. You might not be the greatest, but it's the basics. And we see El Neni do the basics at times. Very slim, but at times. But it's just El Neni, innit? Like, they moan about Fred, we moan about El Neni. It's just what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I agree. Well, look, RJ, I'm going to come straight back to you for picture number 2. Right. It's a very similar sort of scenario, I suppose. Obviously, it wasn't the same type of goal, but in terms of where Arsenal find themselves in terms of lineup, you've got Ronaldo. He's not got loads of space where he is when he receives this ball. The two players marking him, I think it's Thomas Partey and Gabriel, are quite close. I just found it really frustrating that he managed to find space. And the ball travels not only past one Arsenal player, but El Neni and then Gabriel as well. It goes past 3 players with Ronaldo not in very much space. I suppose when it's not your day, it's not your day. Anything Arsenal could have done better in this scenario in picture number 2?
I think for starters... Sorry?
No, go on.
I just feel like, for one, it's Ronaldo. You got to watch him. Ronaldo just needs one touch in the sin. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But again, the closing down the position is just static for me. Do you know what I mean? You really got to be careful. I mean, look how many... And if it's not Ronaldo, look how many more players are in the box there. Who's that at the edge of the box there behind?
Fred, and then Fred just below Ronaldo, and then Bruno Fernandes with his arms out on the edge of the box.
And that's the thing. If Ronaldo misses that, Fred can just easily get that. And no one's marking Fred. Look at that big-ass gap between...
it's mad.
I'm sure that's Ben White there. And
Fred's been criticised probably the most out of any Man United player this season. And if you look at picture number 1, 2 and 3, he's involved in all 3 goals.
He's there in advanced positions. Exactly. He's there in advanced positions. I've heard a few Man United fans even today saying the last couple of games he's actually been pretty decent.
Yeah,
against Chelsea he was really good.
Yeah, it was. Well, he made one mistake. If he passed the ball to Ronaldo, United would have won that game.
Apart from...
But that's nitpicking. You know what I mean already. But yeah, just stack defending. I mean, it's basic. You close your man down. You can't just stand there and let man just pass the ball like that. But again, it's not really much difference for the first goal. I think United kind of worked that out. Like, okay, if we pass the ball a lot more quicker, them lot are just static. We got it. Do you know what I mean? And that's really what it was. And we know, again, like I said, Ronaldo, all they need is one touch. We all know what happens next.
Absolutely. No, I agree completely. I think that the biggest frustration is that our defensive record this season has probably been our main and our biggest positive. So I think it makes it a bit more harder to swallow. But Albert, anything to add on picture number 2?
The only thing I'd add a bit more to number 2 is obviously if you took it back probably another 10-15 seconds, you can see Tavares is way out of position.
He's blowing, isn't he? At this point, he's blowing.
And that's the thing. that you kind of look at it for the second goal. Really, a lot of people that I spoke to said that he was just out of position. But
Right.
yeah, again, it's funny because if you actually look at the number of yellow shirts back in the first shot and the second shot, the players are there, the midfield players are there,
Yeah.
but I guess it's just a case of getting pulled out of position, stroke ball watching, because obviously that still shot in the second clip. You think, well, that's going to have to be a pretty good through ball by Marcus Rashford to get it through for Ronaldo, but he did, and you know, next thing we know, we're 2-1 down.
It's very, very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. But like you said, fine margins. When luck's not on your side, it really isn't on your side. Which, funnily enough, talking of luck, brings us on to picture number 3 and 4. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is because number 3 is, I don't think there's any debate really as to whether or not it was a penalty. Why the referee? Because you can see him clear as day in that picture. There. He hasn't blown up. But my question here, as you've probably seen in the thumbnail, with regards to consistency, is he didn't blow up immediately. Play went on for a few seconds or whatever it was, and it wasn't until VAR got in his ear and told him to go and review the situation. Why was the same thing not applied, the same logic not applied in the case of picture number 4? Because I've seen arguments from some people to say it's a clear and obvious error because the referee's view was blocked from seeing the clear foul. But then other people's argument is that if this was given as a penalty, there'd be penalties in every single game. So RJ, what are your thoughts? And what the question is whether or not picture number 4 should have been reviewed by VAR and referee should have gone and viewed it, really.
Right. Now, I'm not even going to talk about picture number 3 because...
Oh, yeah, that's
just it. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that. So, yeah, because I'm going to start saying some worse words than just shit. Picture number 4. I'm just being honest, you know what I mean? Picture number 4. And it's crazy because I remember I was talking to my friend about this last night and I said, do you know what the weirdest thing about it is? Manchester United did the same thing in the Europa League final. The only difference is Villarreal managed to score from that situation. So they could have easily overturned that and gave that penalty. But I don't understand. I don't understand how this wasn't reacted. But the one key thing I will point out, right? After this event, there was no Arsenal players going to the referee. Someone explain that to me. Why was there no Arsenal players going to the referee, making up noise, saying, listen, Tomiyasu was fouled, there should have been a penalty, and then maybe, just maybe, it might have been a rose. Because, again, the referee's position was blocked, and all he has to do is get harassed by Arsenal players saying, we had a foul, that's a penalty, that's a penalty. Yeah. Potentially, VAR would have gotten his headset and he would have just said, listen, they're making up noise here. Was it a penalty? Who's it? Kevin Friend was in charge, right?
No, it was I think Andre Mariner was the person that was VAR. In the yes. Was it Andre Mariner? I'm sure it was. Yes. It might have been.
All right, cool. Well, whoever it was. Oh wait, Kevin Friend was the Newcastle. All right, cool. I think that's what that was. Maybe I got confused. Doesn't matter, yeah. Whoever was in charge in that control room, right? Hopefully it wasn't Sam. So. Yeah. Anyways, whoever's in that control room, yeah. I mean, they could have just said to the referee, just said, "Oh, well, we're gonna have a look at it." That's all it took. So
yeah,
for me, that's a penalty. Stonewall. Harry Maguire should have got booked for that because what the hell, you're all over him. But I'm disappointed in the Arsenal players that didn't go to the referee and make up noise. Because to be honest with you, you know, we always get told, you know, we're too nice and all this stuff. And then we're seeing a little bit different now. We're taking advantage of the situation, which we used to moan at. But again, these type of situations, this is where your captain and the rest of the team need to get around the referee and be like, 100%. Yo, that's a penalty, that's a penalty, that's a penalty, etc., etc. So that's all I've got to say on that.
No, I agree. I agree, especially when you look at where Tomiyasu is. You can maybe excuse Thomas Partey and Martinelli because they've got their backs to the situation, but everyone else behind Tomiyasu, they can clearly see the situation unfolding. So yeah, that's a really, really, really good point because it does influence the situation. What are your thoughts on this, Albert? Is it the right decision, lack of consistency? What are your thoughts?
It was a terrible decision. It should have been reviewed.
100%.
Absolutely should have been reviewed. And RJ spot on about that because I used to watch the Chelsea. There's certain players you need to go. There's certain times in games. You can possibly even call it gamesmanship if you want to call it that. Yeah, big up Gary, man. But
big up Gary.
Go and harangue the referee. I'm not saying there's a limit to that because I see what it is an incident many years ago. Old Trafford, Roy Keane. Oh my God, that was awful. But no, yeah, you need to listen. The likes of the Michael Ballack's, John Terry, Drogba, they used to consistently be in the referee's ear.
Yeah,
without fail, they see. Because they knew what they was doing. Obviously, you got Mourinho in charge, but listen. These ain't no choir boys in the Chelsea team. They knew what they were doing. And exactly. RJ's right. It makes a very, very good point. In that situation with that incident with Tomiyasu and Harry Maguire, I would have been on the referee personally. And I wouldn't let it go. I would have took a yellow card for it. But because you need to apply the pressure in that situation because that was a key decision. We get that penalty 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's no different to the incident in the first half, is it? Because I don't think all of the Man United players knew that it was Fred that stood on De Gea. But as soon as the ball hit the back of the net, the Man United players surrounded the ref straight away.
Yeah.
Literally straight away. Even though they didn't know the reasons for why De Gea went down, they still surrounded the ref anyway, regardless, in order to get a decision in their favour. So yeah, it's a very, very good point. I didn't think of it like that before, but yeah, you're absolutely spot on. We won't speak about the incident in the first half. For anyone who watched the game, I think the commentators pretty much summed up the situation.
Fred didn't even know he did it himself. That's what made me the most.
Very, very unique. And as they said in the commentary, I honestly can't think of a situation ever where something like that's ever happened.
I've never seen that happen before.
Never.
And by the way, man, my most favourite commentator and co-commentator right there, man. Hands down.
Oh, they were brilliant, weren't they?
Peter Jury's different class.
I love him.
Listen, no offense to Martin Tyler. I've been listening to Martin Tyler since I was probably in single-digit figures in my age wise. So that's a long time ago. But listen, when it's ready to because he's not going to be doing Sky forever. But listen, Sky Sports, if you're listening, man, you need to get Peter Jury's your main man.
Get the
contract. Get Ali McCoy's back too, please. I miss Ali McCoy's commentary.
Ali McCoy's one of the best co-commentators, most definitely, man. 100%.
It's so refreshing hearing him again, honestly.
Yeah, it is.
Right then, I think that about wraps things up for this evening, lads. Right. I don't know if you've got anything else that you wanna add to the situation. I've pulled these pictures from Twitter, by the way. I've not been hacking into your Facebook accounts.
I was wondering who that was. I was wondering who that was in the middle, to be honest.
Wait, you know what?
I love my logo.
You know what? That photo,
fresh trim.
I think a lot of hair's been since then. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know who that is anymore. You know what I mean?
It's a twin brother. I think from now on I might have to start asking people who are commenting that you want me to use a certain picture and stuff because it's
I'll try to make a new one in it, but
no, JC, that's a good question. You say about if there's anything else. I think you know what it is. I think obviously we got the game on Monday against Everton away.
Yes.
I mean, I've to be honest, like I said, with my score predictions, I just stick with them, to be honest with you. I've got most of them pretty right in the last 4 or 5 weeks, but I think we'll get. Listen, Everton are a free for all, but unfortunately, Arsenal tend to be one of them teams that we tend to give people a helping hand. I don't know why we do it, but we tend to do it. But you know what? It's indicative of this season. I think you're going to get some weeks where a few weeks ago is rosy and same points as West Ham on top four. It can easily change, mate, within a couple of games. It can change so quickly, and I think Arsenal fans have to wake up and be very, very aware of that. Not every 5 weeks, my manager or no. Look. Let's take it. Let's slow it down and take it down a peg or two. Listen, we're only playing one game a week. We haven't got European football,
no,
but it's still going to be a struggle. It will, absolutely.
I agree. No, I do agree. There shouldn't be an excuse really, especially with one a week. But yeah, there's 24 games to go now.
Yeah.
24 games. Look at all the drama in 14 games. I can't wait to see the Amazon documentary. Jesus.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
God. They're going to be charging premium tickets.
So far?
I want to see what the rest of the season has to offer first.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, there's too many to pick from in the 14 games, let alone the rest of the 24.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's without the cup competitions.
Oh god.
So anyway, listen, lads, it's been an absolute pleasure having both of you on. RJ, it's been too long.
Yes,
Finally, so happy to get you on, and I'm definitely going to get you back on again. And Albert, you're becoming a regular on the channel now, mate. Resident guest, mate.
I know, man. It's mad. It's what. On a serious note, though, as much as I enjoy doing my YouTube, and I'm not here to be some Billy Big Shot, man. I'm not at all. I'm not about that, man. I enjoy my content. I enjoy the people I have on, RJ and yourself, JC, and Souls and Kesh and Lottie and G and all the other guys. The people that know, the people that properly know. Now it's good to actually come on someone else's channel for once and just sit back and answer the questions.
Get out of the hot seat. Stop being the host. It is nice. It is nice. I know the feeling. I probably should jump on a few other channels and take the back seat from time to time. I know the feelings.
Oh yeah, by the way,
it's
man.
Tough.
Listen, by the way, I'll definitely want to mention this on your channel, man. Big up to you for hitting the 1K, man. 100%.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Much deserved, man. 100%.
Thank you so much. No, I do appreciate it. We'll all get there soon. Don't worry. The grind is real. The grind is real.
Don't worry, man. BT and Sky, the offers are coming, bro. It's coming. or BN Sports, whoever it is out there.
BN Sports on the...
Sitting next to Richard Keys and that, yeah? Right.
Oh, them man. Oh, mate. Jesus.
Richard Keys.
Oh, mate. Is it him and Andy Gray are on those? Yes. Oh, mate. Those ones. Them ones there. Jesus Christ. Anyway. Right. Oh, wow. Albert, mate, before we sign off for the evening, let the people know where they can find you, what you're all about. Details are in the description below, but let the people know.
Yeah, people, Albert JTV, come and subscribe, man. Got my channel, obviously. The main sort of shows on my channel is the Weekly Surgery, which RJ is part of proudly, and Kesh and Gooner Souls, and my Life Stories content series, which has taken off. It surprised me how well it's gone, actually, if I'm being honest. What started out as a very simple idea. I've enjoyed doing it, and there's going to be some more guests to come. Just need to obviously sort out, availability. It's great.
It's never easy.
Yeah, it was great to get the gaffer on Lee Judges and Graham, and to get.
Yeah,
Graham
I tuned in. It was a great watch.
Yeah. Graham and top guy, man, and Lee, and so it's great to get them both on at that time, man. So there's more to come, JC, more to come. But Albert JTV, come and check out people and subscribe.
Go and subscribe. And follow Albert on Twitter as well. Don't even, as Albert says on his channel, don't even think about it. Just do it. And then we've got the guy RJ. He's back. He's after a few weeks out, mate. Talk to the people. Where can they find you? What you're all about, mate?
Well, I'm finally back. So I want to thank you, JC, for inviting me on. Listen,
it's been too long. It's been a long time coming.
It's been way too long. I know we've been planning this for God knows how long now. Maybe even go back to last season or even season before.
Maybe.
But we finally made it happen.
First of many.
So thanks. Exactly. So thanks again. It's always a great link up with you, Albert. As always, bro.
Bro.
As always, you know what I mean. But guys, You want to find me out? Ryan Williams ASC. Check out my channel. I keep it very real. I just voice my opinions. Check me out on Twitter, RJ Wills. And of course, you can find me on Albert J TV as well. In the surgery, trying to repair Arsenal as well.
Brilliant. Well, you heard it here, guys. Listen, go and subscribe to my channel, Albert's channel, RJ's channel. Drop a like on the stream. But for now, we are going to be signing off for the evening. So thank you very much,
people.